We won't be needing the Zoro tunic for any future dungeon, so go ahead and switch to the Kokiri tunic if you want. Navi's dialogue after beating the water temple consists of searching for people that know about the other sages. At this point, just call Epona and head straight to Kakariko Village. Speaking to Saria after the water temple, she tells us that 6 sages are needed to seal Ganondorf away in the Sacred Realm. She hints that a perfect seal requires a 7th sage, claiming that it is someone that we know. She states that we must travel through time to awaken the remaining sages. Entering Kakariko Village, we find that some of the buildings are on fire. Link spots Sheik standing in front of the well, to which Sheik tells him to back away from it. Turns out the wooden structure was a seal keeping an evil spirit stuck in the well. It attacks Sheik. Then, it attacks Link. When Link wakes up, he is greeted by Sheik, who wasn't as badly hurt as originally thought. The evil shadow spirit that he refers to is the boss of the next temple. Sheik tells us that it was Impa who sealed it away at the bottom of the well, but it became so strong that it broke the seal to escape into the world. He says that Impa will be in danger if we don't help her seal the evil spirit again. Sheik then says that Impa is one of the 6 sages. He further states that the Shadow Temple is underneath the village graveyard. Sheik then teaches Link the Nocturne of Shadow, a melody that will draw anyone into the infinite darkness that absorbs even time. Sheik says that he will take care of the village before disappearing. Come over here to speak with an old man. He will mention that there was once a man who lived in the village who, and I quote, had an eye they said could see the truth. Of course, he is hinting at a secret item that will be needed to progress further into the game. The man that the old fellow mentions is actually the evil spirit that was sealed away in the bottom of the well, finalizing his statement by mentioning that the man's house stood where the well is now. Looking at the entrance to the bottom of the well, we will find that it has been blocked off by a boulder that cannot be removed. This place can only be accessed in the past. So, let us go to the Temple of Time to make ourselves young again. Get me back in time. In the past, the well is filled with water. To drain it, head to the windmill and play the Song of Storms for the man playing music. With this, we can complete the Bootstrap Paradox, a song that's stuck in a temporal loop for eternity. With the water drained from the well, it's time to find out what makes this well dark, narrow, and scary. Only several seconds into this place, you can tell by the ambience that it will be creepy as... The Shadow Temple has the same music, so I won't go over that again. The spirits in the room whisper to Navi, telling Link to find the Eye of Truth, as they put it. On the other end of the room, Navi will comment on a statue that is flooding the entire floor. As you may have guessed, with the royal family's crest, we must play their song to make progress. Before we go get the Eye of Truth, there is one specific room that I would like to show you that contains a new, yet familiar, enemy type. The humanoid wrapped in bandages is known as a Gibto. They behave the same way as a Redead. You can even say that they are Redeads wrapped in bandages. They too used to scare the living out of me. Lighting the torches with Din's fire opens the coffins. One of the coffins contains a key, but this mini-dungeon is completely optional, so I won't show it off in its entirety. Fall down into a pit at the entrance to the well, and crawl through a small opening. This is the path that you need to take to reach the Eye of Truth. Enter the automated door. The protruding hands in themselves used to scare me, but they are nothing compared to the mini-boss that they hide. Getting grabbed by one of the hands reveals the frightening monster, Dead Hand. This was another thing that scared me when I was young. This thing was literal nightmare fuel for me. All that you do during this battle is get grabbed by one of the infinite hands and pray that it doesn't appear too close to you. I tried to demonstrate that you can get it to come out of the ground early using bombs, but without the Eye of Truth it is pretty much a guessing game. Even the way this thing dies is really creepy. It continues to twitch itself into oblivion. Opening the chest, we received the Lens of Truth, a Sheikah artifact that allows the user to see what is hidden at the cost of using parts of the magic meter. Now that we obtained this key item, it's time to head into the dark abyss known as the Shadow Temple to help Impa. As an adult, warp to the Kakariko graveyard using the Nocturne of Shadow. Remember when I said that Din's Fire would be used back in episode 3? This is one place where you will need it. Open the entrance using this ability to enter the Shadow Temple. At the entrance to the temple, we are blocked by a shadow wall that tells us the shadow will yield only to one with the Eye of Truth. This prompts us to use the Lens of Truth to reveal that the wall is just an illusion. Over here, we have a puzzle where the beak of the bird statue must face the Skull of Truth. Otherwise, a pit will open where the floor is, causing Link to fall into the deep darkness. The real skull is revealed when you use the Lens of Truth. Pushing the statue towards it opens a gate on the other side of the pit that we can't cross yet. Reading this sign informs us that we need a special pair of boots to cross the Valley of the Dead. Using the Lens of Truth reveals a secret area in the back of the room. We are blocked once again by a shadow wall that tells us that we need the Lens of Truth to see past the illusions. The next shadow wall will teach us that behind is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. Entering the room, we find a singular reed-dead with 2 keys in the corners. I would like to take this time to mention that the Hyrule royal family used some dark magic to basically create the reed-deads and Gibtos from the enemies they had during the Hyrulean Civil War. The Hyrule royal family transformed them into hollow husks that we see in-game. From reed-deads and Gibtos to creepy creatures known as Dead Hands. They were former Hylians who were interrogated and eventually turned into these forms. This is why it is referred to as Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred. They even formed the temple from the bones of the evil dead, hence why it is taboo for the royal family to bring it up the Shadow Temple in casual conversation. Okay, dark story time is over for now. Defeating every enemy in the room reveals a giant chest. Inside is the map for the dungeon. Next, we want to head even further into the dark corridor. Don't forget to have the Lens of Truth equipped on the C buttons. In this room, we have another dead hand that we must defeat. With the Master Sword, it is much easier to get the creature out of the ground using an energy spin. Usually, when you use the Lens of Truth in a room with a dead hand, you will be able to see the shadow of the creature in the ground. My emulator won't show that for some inexplicable reason, so that's why I had to beat it using the old-fashioned technique of getting grabbed by the arms. In the chest that spawns after beating Dead Hand, we receive the hover boots. These things allow Link to travel even further into the dungeon. These are commonly used to hover over endless pits. Back in the room with a chasm, we equip the hover boots to make it to the other side. Head down a descending slope and use your bombs to blow up the back wall to reveal a locked door. To get the key, head left through a shadow wall. I'll skip to the part where I already have collected the silver rupees in the room because I am confident that you, the viewer, will know what to do here. After collecting all the silver rupees, head this way to obtain the key. Now, before unlocking the door we saw, there are a couple of things to do. First, Navi will point out a wall that speaks. It says that a ferry to the other world can be found by walking toward it. Falling down the pit reveals what it meant. This time, in a room with the Beamos, head right to a room with 2 Gibtos. Defeating them both reveals the compass for the dungeon. The area behind the locked door is linear, so I'll fast forward through this part. To the left, there are invisible platforms that lead to a hidden room. In this room, defeating the invisible keys in the like opens a gate that behind resides 2 small chests. The hidden one on the right contains a bundle of arrows, and the one on the left has a blue rupee. As you may have guessed, with the number of arrows we get in this dungeon, we will inevitably end up needing them for the main boss. You won't see it now, but there's a locked door on the other side of the chasm. To get the key, collect the silver rupees to proceed beyond the gate. In this room, you want to pull out a hidden block that will allow you to bypass the falling spikes. There are 3 chests here. I'll show you how to get each one. The one activated by a press play button contains the key. You are going to need the Lens of Truth equipped to get past the chasm. Once you do, enter the room and defeat the Redeads to spawn a chest. Collect the silver rupees to unlock the room on the left side. The flaming skull can be blown up using bomb flowers found at the top of the stairs and toward the back of the room. Doing so reveals the next key. With the key, we can unlock the next door to proceed further. To get past the windy corridor, equip the iron boots so that you aren't blown back by the gusts. In the room with 2 Redeads, Navi will point out that the wall says to allow the wind to guide the hover boots user to a hidden path. This means that one of the fans blows in the direction of a room we have to find. Use the Lens of Truth to reveal the hidden location mentioned by the wall in the previous room. The next key we need is hidden in an invisible chest under a bombable surface. The room beyond contains the ferry to the other world. Push the block until it's positioned underneath the ladder like this, then climb up and look across. Use the Scarecrow song to summon Pierre and hook onto him. There's a gold sculpture that you can get here. On the ferry, stand on the royal family's crest and play their song. For this part, I will play a classic song from the same era this game came out to set the mood for a mini montage. Never stop making games, Zune. You are an inspiration to us all. After jumping off the ferry, you want to head right over here. In this room shaped like a diamond, stick to the left-hand side to prevent yourself from getting lost. There's an invisible floor master in this first room. Defeating it reveals a small chest with a key. Keep left to reach the next room. You'll find 3 rotating skulls on a platform. One of the skulls contains rupees. Keep in mind that this room is completely optional. I'm showing it because I think it's a neat bonus.
Huh, neat.
Once again, stick to the left to reach the next room. With wooden spiky walls closing in on us, it is useful to use Din's fire here. On the right side of the room is the chest for the boss key. To cross the chasm, shoot the bomb flowers with an arrow to knock down the giant bird statue. Over here, there's one more spot where you can summon Pierre with the Scarecrow song. Up top is a few hearts. Open the locked door to reveal another chasm room. Using the Lens of Truth here shows invisible platforms for Link to cross the room. Opening the boss door takes us to a pit with a massive drum at the bottom. The creature drumming a beat of death is Phantom Shadow Beast Bongo. This boss has a variety of attacks it uses with its hands and one scripted charge attack after dealing with the hands. I don't think my recording shows all of them, so you'll have to take my word for it. The Phantom scripted charge attack deals 3 hearts of damage while knocking Link back, usually off of the drum. To deal damage to it, hit the hands with either arrows or the long shot and aim for the eye when it begins to charge. Hit the eye with the sword to defeat Bongo. Even though Bongo wasn't given a backstory in-game, it is speculated by fans that this Phantom was a former Sheikah who betrayed the Hyrule royal family and was given a gruesome execution in Kakariko Village either during or after the Hyrulean Civil War. decapitated along with his hands. All this former man can remember is the drumbeat of his execution. That's possibly the last dark story I will bring up until maybe I play Majora's Mask. Entering the warp point to return to the Chamber of Sages in the Temple of Light, we're greeted this time by Impa. She introduces to us that she is in fact the Sage of Shadow. She mentions that the Sheikah have served the royal family for generations, even while Ganondorf attacked Hyrule Castle. Impa states that Ganondorf was after the Ocarina of Time, a treasure to the royal family and a key to the Sacred Realm. She says that her duty was to protect Princess Zelda, then commends Link on becoming a fine hero. She further states that we will soon meet the princess, who will explain everything, and that will be when the sages seal Ganondorf away. She then asks us to protect Zelda before providing the Shadow Medallion. When the screen fades, she asks us to look out for Princess Zelda. Once you have 30 gold sculptulas, you'll be able to obtain the Giant's Wallet. The maximum amount of rupees you can carry has now been increased to 500. With 20 gold sculptulas, you'll be able to receive the Stone of Agony. On a console that supports a rumble pack, this will be activated over a secret hole. If you are playing on a console, you'll be able to feel rumbling around the middle area of Kakariko Village. I tested my Xbox controller for the rumble pack on Project 64, but it didn't work for me. Once you have the Giant's Wallet, use bombs in the spot to open a secret hole. In this hole there are 2 Redeads. Defeating them reveals a chest that holds a huge gold rupee. If you watched this far into the video, I'd like to commend your effort. Be sure to leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my content. You may have noticed that the Kapwing logo is gone from this episode. That's because I used Kdenlive to edit this video. Kdenlive is a bit more complex than Kapwing, so I most likely use complex editing techniques for this. Next time, we will head to the Gerudo Desert for the final temple. Until then, I hope to see you all on a paradise planet.